Hello there, welcome to part 21 in the 10 Minutes at the Piano playlist. This time looking at playing you. Maybe you've gone through all 20 videos and you've done very well. You know your 12 major scales, you understand the internal piano philosophy, your internal jukebox, you've played around with touch and dynamics and some chord types and progressions and all the other videos I've done. Don't remember all the titles right now. I thought right now at video 21 it might be very beneficial for you to step away from the piano and dive into your musical personality. Musical personality does not only mean that you know what kinds of music you like, it also refers to how you play the piano naturally. So knowing, just because you know all the major scales and chord types and you can play maybe lots of songs and understand some sort of improvisational ideas and whatnot and have a good internal metronome, all of that doesn't really matter if you don't know who is playing the piano, you know. There could be a million people and they all play one major scale differently, you know. And I'd like you to, therefore, as a water pianist, understand that you must understand how you plays with an S. How you plays. What does the you mean? It means your inspirational source. It means you, as an observer, are aware of what's going on positively from your inspirational source and what is negatively influencing you from your ego, and to reject those negative thoughts and to listen, observe and allow the inspirational source to do its good stuff through you. You are just an expression of what is going on in that mind of yours, and you have to let it come out. And discovering your musical personality is a very endless journey of self-understanding, self-discovery. And if you understand it very, very well, you'll be a very, very good pianist. In my water pianism book, I call this honest execution. You will be executing your scales or your performance piece, your repertoire, honestly. You won't be doing it for any egotistical reason. You won't be doing it to satisfy somebody. You won't be doing it to compare to somebody. You'll be doing it for honest reasons. In the description box below, along with some useful videos which relate a little bit to this video and what I talk about, you're going to find some links to some music that you may never have considered listening to before. But I'd like to challenge you to open your mind and identify components of those musical styles and be able to justify why or why not they are interesting to you. Let me say that again. Why they are interesting to you or not. Understand what kind of chords you like, what kind of intervals you like the sound of. Let me give one example. When I was in my teens, I discovered Glenn Miller, and from one of his songs, Moonlight Serenade, I discovered the 6th chord because I liked the sound of it. And the song basically goes like this. That's the 6th chord. That's the diminished chord. I also learnt something about diminished chords from this song. And the song goes on like that. So I discovered that I like the sound of the 6th chord. I like how it makes me feel. It's a soft, warm kind of chord. So of course I would go around all the keys and learn the shape, because I know the major scales of the 6th chord in all the keys, and play around with that. Of course, personalizing technical exercises is very, very important. So if you listen to those pieces, what you'll be able to do is justify why you like things and why you don't like things, and that is actually part of your musical personality, because you're understanding what is naturally interesting to you. It's not your choice whether you like certain things or not. It's just how it is. Go through the repertoire from Elton John all the way back to Chopin. There's many things that you can listen to, but you're not going to like all of it, you see. I want to give you an example on, for example, just playing the major scales and the chords. How is your touch? How do you play? How does you play? When you play the major scales, do you have a hard touch? Are you heavy? There are many videos online of people playing on these public pianos, and very often they will play the boogie woogie blues thing with that kind of, in the left hand. If you're interested, I'm just playing an octave of C and then a 6th chord actually in the middle. I'm playing 6. And they just kind of do this They just do that kind of thing. And a lot of them play very hard and very heavy, and that's probably their natural style. It's probably how they're playing. If they're confident enough to play in public, then they're confident enough to play themselves in public. So that means that they would play in public how they would play at home in their room. Now, I'm not giving a judgment here or an opinion, I'm just stating a fact. Go and look at them for yourself. You'll notice that many of them do play that kind of boogie woogie stuff, or they play pop songs, and they have a very heavy touch, because they have an octave in the left hand, and they'll play major and minor triads in the right hand, but they have a very kind of, like this kind of, you know, this heavy style, you know? Okay, fine. Is that their musical personality? Is it because they're being influenced by the environment and it's forcing them to play louder because they believe that playing louder makes them better? Who knows? But whatever happens, know that when you are playing, it is an honest execution. If I were to play in public, which I would not do, I would play me. I wouldn't be playing louder or faster to satisfy people, because that wouldn't be honest execution. I know the kind of chords I like, I know the intervals I like, I know the repertoire I like, and I know what works to make people react in a certain way. So I would play in that way, you know, and that would make me an honest performer, and that's what you should be too. As a water pianist, you would understand that. So for example, with the major scales, how do you play the major scales? Do you have a natural staccato, or do you hold down the notes for too long so they kind of overlap? Are your fingers very rigid? Is your wrist hanging below the piano? You need to get to the point now, after 20 videos and maybe a few months of playing, really start to take it a bit more seriously and discover what's actually going on as an observer. That's who I'm speaking to right now. And observe, what on earth is the body doing? Are there certain things that you should fix? Are there certain things that are natural or unnatural? And is that good or bad for your physical health? And is it honest for who you actually are and what you actually want to achieve when you play the piano? And just by doing major scales, you can discover that. How do you play a major scale? There's a lot in that question. How do you play chords? Do you naturally open them like I do? When I play a chord, I always like to play it like this, and then maybe an octave at the end, like this. That's a very common style of mine. Like that. That comes through me naturally. I let it happen. I'm not doing it because it maybe makes me sound good. I'm not doing it because somebody else did it. I'm not doing it because somebody told me to do it. That's just what happens, and I'm aware of that. That's what I'm trying to say. So just by playing the chord types, major 7, dominant 7, and then those two with a minor, identify how they come out. What is your rhythm? Do you have a natural sense of rhythm? Do you need to work on your internal metronome? Of course, I have videos for that. But try it out. Maybe improvise a little song using the major scales and a major 7 chord, and see what comes out. Where does your hand naturally go? Are you inclined to go nearer to the right, to the upper register, or are you more interested in these sort of, you know, darker tones? See, this is coming naturally. It's not really a song, it's just that just came to me there and then. I don't normally play down there. I'm more sort of centric and to the right. But that was an example. Would you do that? Not just because I did it, but is that what you would do naturally? That's how it came out when I played it then. If I played the same thing, which was a 1-4-5, just playing major 7 chords, and I did it in the middle, what I'm just trying to let me just observe what natural rhythm comes through me. I'm just observing it. I'm not getting involved. I'm removing or reducing my conscious interference. I'm just becoming an observer. So that rhythm comes to me now. That's just what came to me there and then. Play around with that, see what happens. So to close this video, do have a look at the links below to some world music, and identify and be able to justify what you like and what you don't like and why. But musically speaking, is it the intervals, is it the chord type, is it the rhythm, is it the speed, is it the instrument? there's so many components that you can identify with and like, and the more you are aware of those at this stage, instead of getting too carried away with playing chords and scales and learning repertoire maybe for the wrong reasons, you would do well to step away from the piano, listen to some world music, even going away from music and looking at some art and identifying what you like in art. Do you like certain paint strokes? Do you like certain colours being mixed? And in literature, do you like the old style, the new style? You know, there's so many components of art and each field that you would do really well to identify as being naturally enjoyed by you. And that is all part of discovering how you plays. So I hope that this video has given you a bit of a push in a direction away from the piano, so that when you come back to it, you should be a slightly better pianist without having actually done anything technical on the piano. You might surprise yourself. As always, likes, comments, subscriptions are always welcome. Have a look at my books and blog, and I'll see you in the next video. All the best. Bye for now.